hating on the kid, that's fine. I'ma make a movie out these niggas one time. Don't you worry about the time it took. Just know that the bullets in the magazine enough to paint a comic book. Niggas all kinda shook. Round here, niggas bear enough arms and get compared to an octopus. Check out the pages of my comic book. Cannons get hand drawn. Ain't nothing sketchy when you plot the jokes. A burning flame in this comic book. Everything that changed. I turn the page in this comic. Hey yo, my city rotten. In a day of flower blossom when the sun fade. Every night it turn to Gotham, Batman and Robin. Not the heroes, but it happens when the op gets spotted. They whoop your ass and pat your pockets. Marvelous, everything real. Bitch, I never lied. Magneto lifting my arms to let the metal fly. All black Nina, call it black woman storm. But it rained on you niggas, don't get caught up in the storm. Don't you worry about the time it took. Just know that the bullets in the magazine enough to paint a comic book. Niggas all kinda shook. Round here, niggas bear enough arms and get compared to an octopus. Check out the pages of my comic book. Cannons get hand drawn. Ain't nothing sketchy when you plot the jokes. A burning flame in this comic book. Everything that changed, I turn the page in this comic book. I'm not Peter Parker, so why do niggas think I hang with them? When every time they around, my spidey sense tingling. Bodies on ice for trying to be dead cool. Bodies in the water, that's how you make a dead pool. I bring carnage to these niggas, be an idiot. Dressed in all black, kinda looking like the symbiote. No matter if these niggas hating on me, I will never be a character erased from the story. Don't you worry about the time it took. Just know that the bullets in the magazine enough to paint a comic book. Niggas all kinda shook. Round here, niggas bear enough arms and get compared to an octopus. Check out the pages of my comic book. Cannons get hand drawn. Ain't nothing sketchy when you plot the jokes. A burning flame in this comic book. Everything that changed, I turn the page in this comic book.
Welcome to Blended Healing, a view from a different lens. Project 2025, Episode 4. We are now going to be covering the White House. For those of you who've been following in the actual document, we are now on page 56 in the document. We are now into the meat and potatoes of the document. On chapter 1, White House Office, it was written by Rick Dearborn. Rick Dearborn. I believe I have a picture of Mr. Dearborn and I shall put it up. Patience. And as we're doing that, let me just reiterate to you, keep it classy in the chat. I don't mind you having conversation and making statements about the content that you hear, but keep it classy. Keep it very classy, because my block game is real good. Do I have a picture of this gentleman? I do not. I do not have a picture of him. We'll get it for next time because I know that he is a contributor to a lot of the material in this booklet. So let us begin. Mr. Dearborn starts this chapter as the White House offices from popular culture to academia. The American presidency has long been a prominent fixture of the national imagination. Naturally so, since it is the beating heart of our nation's power and prestige. It has played, for instance, a feature role in innumerable movies and television shows. and has been prodded, analyzed, and critiqued by countless books, essays, and studies. But like nearly everything else in life, there is no substitute for first-hand experience, which is a manual. This manual, this conservative promise, Project 2025, was compiled from the experience of presidential appointees and provides an accessible form for future use. With respect to the presidency, it is best to begin with our republic's foundational document. The Constitution gives the executive power to the president. It designates him as commander in chief and gives him the responsibility to take care that the laws be faithfully executed. It further prescribes that the president might seek the assistance of the principal officer in each of the executive departments. Beginning with George Washington, every president has been supported by some form of White House office consisting of direct staff officers as well as cabinet comprised of department and agency heads. Since the inaugural administration of the late 18th century, citizens have chosen to devote their time and their talent to defending and strengthening our nation by serving at the pleasure of the president. Their shared patriotic endeavor has proven to be a noble one, not least because the jobs in which it is now known as the White House office, acronym WHO, who, great acronym, great, and among the most demanding in all government. The president must rely on the men and women appointed to the WHO. There simply are not enough hours in the day to manage the affairs of state single-handedly. So delegation is not just advisable, it's essential. The decisions that assistants and senior advisors make will directly impact the administration, its legacy, and most important, the fate of the country. Their agenda must therefore be the president's agenda. I'm going to say that line one more time. Their agenda must be the president's agenda. Choosing who will carry out that agenda on a daily basis is not only one of the first decisions a president makes in office, but also one of the most critical. The tone and the tempo of the administration are often determined on January the 20th. First up on the block is the Chief of Staff. Now, I went in and I know that our sister content creator, Madam Oracle or C. Val, has also went through the cabinet choices a few weeks ago. So, who is chosen to be who is chosen to be the chief of staff? It is Susan Wiles. I'm sorry. She goes by the name of Susie Wiles. Wiles. Susie Wiles is going to be the White House Chief of Staff. You can look her up and see what her resume looks like. Susie is going to be the Chief of Staff, which makes her the assistant to the president. However, Susie is truly first among equals. Of all the presidential staff members, Susie is the most critical to implement the president's vision for the country. Susie, who is the chief of staff, has a dual role as manager of the staffs of both the White House and the executive office of the president. Susie's first managerial task is to establish an organizational chart for the White House. It should be simple and contain clear lines of authority and responsibility to avoid conflicts. It should also identify specific points of contact for each element of the government outside of the White House. These contacts should include the White House liaisons, who are selected by the Office of Presidential Personnel. Let me see if I have that name. There is not one specific name that I saw on the list as of yet, but I digress. Receiving the guidance from the president, Susie is to implement the president's agenda by setting priorities for the White House office. This process begins by taking stock of the president's campaign promises. I don't know. You get so confused. What was his immigration. Tax cuts for the billionaires. What else did he say? He's closing the borders, but I said that already. What else was his campaign promise? Oh, to be a dictator on day one. What else did he said he was going to do? Oh, the economy. He said he was going to work on the economy. What else did he say that he was going to do? Oh, he was going to get retribution from all of the people that talked shit about him and went against him. Oh, wait a minute. He said he was also going to look at the First Amendment because those people in the press should not be able to talk shit about him or anything like that. I don't know, I could be missing a lot more, but I do remember those standing out to me. And after Susie takes stock of the president's campaign promises, Susie identifies current and prospective opportunities. And then she delegates policy priorities among the departments and the agencies of the cabinet throughout the 3 White House policy councils. So for the National Economic Council, who does she have? Who does he have for the National Economic Council? Let's see. National Economic. I'm going through the list. National Economic. I don't see anybody for the National Economic. I see the FCC. Who is National Economic? This is a big one. I see I don't see economic, but it could be just me missing it right now. Oh, well, we have the Office of Management and Budget. Maybe that is what they're referring to. And that Office of Management and Budget Director is Russ Voigt, Russ, last name Voigt, Vought. So you can look him up and see what he's do. Then you have the Domestic Policy Council. The Policy, Domestic Policy, let's see. Domestic policy. Do we have anybody for that? The domestic policy. Domestic policy. Oh, we do have a person. It's no other than the Deputy Chief of Staff himself for Policy and Homeland Security, and that would be Stephen Miller. I'm sure you all are familiar with Stephen Miller. You can look that up yourself. And then the National Security Council. Susie's over that. Who is the National Security Council? National Security Council. Let's see. The National Security Council. National Security Council. You have an advisor, and that is Michael Waltz. WALTZ. Michael Waltz. We do have that. Okay, I don't see anything else. No, that's all we have named so far. The president is briefed on all his policy priorities by his cabinet and senior staff as directed by Susie. Susie, along with the senior White House staff, maps out the issues. So remember that Susie maps out the issues and the themes that will be covered on a daily and weekly basis. Susie then works with the policy councils, the cabinet, the Office of Communications, and Office of Legislative Affairs to sequence and execute the rollout of policies and announcements. The White House counsel and senior advisors and senior counselors are also intimately involved. So you have the cabinet, you have the Office of Communications and the Office of, excuse me, that came out of nowhere, and the Office of Legislative Affairs. So who is the Office of Communication? That would be the Deputy Chief of Staff of Communication and Personnel, and that is Taylor Budowich. Taylor, Taylor. Budowich is Budowich. And who was the other? That is the Office of Communications. And let's see who is the Office of Legislative Affairs. Do we have anybody named in that yet? The Office of Legislative Affairs. Going down, going down. I don't see anybody yet. Nope. Oh, I stand corrected. Deputy Chief of Staff for Legislative, Political, and Public Affairs is James Blair. James Blair. And the White House Counsel is the White House Counsel. I'm going down. The White House Counsel is William McGinley. William capital MC capital GINLEY. William McGinley is your White House Counsel. And senior advisors and senior counselors. All of the senior staff is to report to Susie, either directly or through his 2 or 3 deputies, unless the president determines that a particular assistant to the president reports directly to him. So he has the choice to either let them go through Susie or go straight to him. Since most chiefs have interacted directly with the cabinet officers and select number of direct reports, in most cases, the direct reports to the chief of staff, which is Susie, are his 2 or 3 deputies, which we already named: the communications director, the White House counsel, and its senior advisors, and occasionally the Office of Public Liaison, the cabinet secretary, and intergovernmental affairs also report directly to the chief. Usually, however, they report instead to the deputy chief of staff. And who's the deputy chief of staff? Stephen Miller. Susie's main challenge is time management and his use of his deputies. And in this case, it's her use of her deputies, meetings with senior staff, and direction provided to the White House office must all balance with the daily needs of the president. A successful chief will steer the West Wing using her management of and influence with various individuals and entities around her. It goes without saying that selecting the right person to be chief is vital. Pause. I stand corrected. The Deputy Chief of Staff is Dan Scavino, Scavino. The Deputy Chief of Staff for Policy and Homeland Security Advisor is Stephen Miller. The Deputy Chief of Staff for Legislative, Political, and Public Affairs is James Blair. The Deputy Chief of Staff for Communications and Personnel is Taylor Budowich. The Presidential Personnel Office Head is Sergio Gore, Gor. Yeah, pause. I just read to you who the Deputy Chiefs of Staff are. They go on to say that in recent years, presidents typically have appointed 2 deputy chiefs of staff: a deputy chief of staff for management and operations, and a deputy chief of staff for policy. There also have been other types of deputy chiefs whose roles have included the overseeing of strategy, planning, and implementation, Chiefs of staff have then occasionally appointed a principal deputy chief to be in charge of guiding decision making, organizational structure, and information flow. So there's nothing really new under the sun when it comes to this part of the White House staff. What's interesting are the people who have been put in place thus far. Some of the names that I have read to you also have contributed to Project 2025. The principal deputy chiefs of staff. Not all chiefs of staff have been tapped as a principal deputy. A major reason is that doing so adds another layer of command, which is complex. When principal deputies have been installed, their roles have varied based upon the needs of the particular chiefs. Most principal deputies have functioned as doorkeepers, sorting through action items, taking on those that have been handled at their own level, and passing up others that truly require the attention of Susie, the chief of staff, or the president. Principal deputies also have assumed control over the scheduling functionings, normally under the operations deputy, and have worked directly with policy councils at the direction of the chief of staff. The Office of Political Affairs and the Office of Political Legislation also have reported to the principal deputy. The Deputy Chief of Staff for Management and Operations oversees the president's schedule and all logistics of his movements within and outside the White House. That's like taking care of air travel on Air Force One and Marine One and ground transportation. This deputy interfaces directly with the Secret Service, as well as military office tasked with keeping the president and his family safe. In the past, this deputy also worked with the Secretary of Defense, the Secretary of State, and the intelligence community on all advancing towards foreign trips. If their roles are separated from that of the policy deputy, this deputy should have a strong grasp of international affairs and a robust foreign policy credentials. Pause. Let me run back to the list. Let's see. Secretary of State is going to be Marco Rubio. Let's see. UN Ambassador is Elise Stefanik. The Defense Secretary is Pete Hegseth, Fox News. Let me see who else. I think that's it right now. That's it right now. We'll come back to it. International affairs. Lord Jesus, have mercy. This deputy further manages all facets of the working White House, whether it's technology, grounds management, support staff, personnel, administration, communications. This individual, therefore, needs to be meticulous and ideally should possess a great deal of command and control experience. Oh, this is going to be good in 2025 to see this saga unfold. The Deputy Chief of Staff for Policy. Huh. Who did we say that was? Oh, right. Stephen Miller. Stephen Miller. Stephen Miller is the person who's with other advisors within the White House have fallen under the Deputy Chief of Staff for Policy. That's Stephen. He's in charge of the IGA, the OPA, and the OPL. Huh. And other advisors. Oh, damn. Oh, damn. For conservatives, this arrangement can help to connect the White House outreach to political and external groups and be a strong conduit for state and local officials. Can you see this shit already? Stephen Miller? Mr. Wait, hold on. I want to be very clear. Let's get this right now. I have to let y'all know. If y'all don't know about Stephen Miller is known to be credited with shaping the racist and draconian immigration policies of President Trump, which includes zero tolerance policy, also known as family separation, the Muslim ban, and ending DACA if he could. Miller is also known because he wants to purge the government agencies of civil servants who are not entirely loyal to his extremist agenda. What do we know about Stephen Miller? Stephen Miller. Okay, let's get down to Stephen. I don't want to hear his words. Let's see. Stephen Miller was born in 85 in Cali. He had evolving political views, always at odds with progressive people. What else? Far hate. He started working with far right hate groups while studying at Duke University. He's anti-Muslim. He organized the events like Islamo-Fascism Awareness Week. What else? He is accredited for publishing white national groups and publishing the work of other extremists. He is notoriously known as a white nationalist figure in the United States. He's credited with the popularizing the term alt-right. He was a headline speaker at the Unite the Right rally in Charlottesville, Virginia. Let's see. He is also, let's go down, Stephen Miller. There's so much. Known for neo Nazism. What else? Let me see. What else? What else? He is also known for having a role in stopping the bill of anti-immigrant ideals. What else do they say about Mr. Miller? Okay, I'm scrolling really fast. Let's see. He believes that elites can't allow the people to see their condition is the product of events beyond their control. He believes in the great replacement, conspiracy theory. What else? Mr. Miller, you have just so much. Okay. I think, let me see. They have well documented ties to anti-immigrant hate groups such as the CIS and FAIR. He intends to target legal immigration categories moving forward, legal immigration categories. He is enforcing a moratorium on immigration after the goals of both white nationalists and anti-immigrant extremists. You can read between the lines, but there's not much room, so you get the picture, right? You see what you're working with? This dude is the deputy chief of staff over the IGA, the OPA, and the OPL. He works directly with Susie and other cabinet officers. And he is the one that's going to support the development and the implementation of the president's agenda. He is therefore supposed to have policy credentials in the realms of economic, domestic, and social affairs. Wow. So let's move on to senior advisors. Presidents have surrounded themselves with senior advisors whose experience and interests are not necessarily neatly defined. Thank okay. In recent administration, senior advisors have been appointed to offer broad guidance in political matters and communication issues. Others have acted as czars for specific projects or policy. Pause. Who's the czar? Let's see. You have, let's see. Border czar is Tom Homan, the ex-director of ICE. Is there any more czars? Nope, he's the only czar that is mentioned so far in the president's cabinet. Let's see. The most powerful senior advisor frequently has a long personal relationship with the president and often has spent a significant amount of time with him within and outside of the White House. So who is his senior advisors? Do tell. I want to know. Let's find out who his senior advisors are right now. Trump senior advisors. Let's see. He has 4 campaign advisors that he's appointing to his thing. You have bringing 4 advisors from his presidential campaign into his new White House as deputy chiefs of staff, including 2 long-term aides and a political director who played a key role in his victory. Dan Scavino, we mentioned him. James Blair, we mentioned him.
Where's the dining room?
The dining room, if you go and you go back down to the end of the hallway,
Yeah.
you make a right-hand turning, you make a left, and then the dining room's right there to the right. You're welcome. And we mentioned Taylor Budowich. Those are the people that he has. Who else? I think that's it. He said Dan, Stephen, James, and Taylor are the best-in-class advisors for winning his campaign. Miller, you know who that is one of Trump's longest-serving aides, dating back to his first campaign for the White House. And he is and was a senior advisor in Trump's first term. Okay, so now we know who the advisors are. Okay. So those are your power senior advisors. In a number of administration, new offices or councils have been created to support senior advisors. For the most part, their functions have been duplicative or overlapping, as a result of which these offices have tended to be short-lived. Even so, senior advisors should be provided the staff and resources that their portfolios require. Now that's scary. Could you imagine? Well, I guess they're there all along. But can you ever imagine having, I'm just going to say Stephen Miller and what comes with him, walking around the White House, doing that salute? That's scary business right there. Okay. So you know what he created, correct? You do understand that he created a whole segment, and that is called the Department of Government Efficiency. And that's going to be ran by Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy. That's new. Good luck, but that's new. Ashe? All right. Now we go to the Office of White House Counsel. We already talked about it. We already know, but let's touch on it again. They said that the Office of White House Counsel provides legal guidance to the president and the elements of the executive office of the president on a host of issues, including presidential power and privileges. This is a good one. Ethics compliance, review of clemency applications, judicial nominations. The selection of the White House counsel is one of the most important decisions an incoming president will make. The office is not designed to create or advance policy on its own initiative, nor should it do so. Rather, it is dedicated to guiding the president and his reports on how, within the bounds of the law, to pursue and realize the president's agenda. While the White House counsel does not serve as the president's personal attorney in non-official matters. Wait a minute, hold up. Let me go back to this list. Oh, because he's appointing him now. But he was, at one point, his personal attorney, if I'm not mistaken. William McGinley. William McGinley. Why do I think that he used to be the counsel to Donald Trump at one point? Was he his personal attorney? Let's see. William McGinley. Was he Trump's personal attorney? Okay, let's see. Okay. His pick for White House counsel is a bit different. William McGinley is a long-term Republican election lawyer and a K Street player, and is not known as an outspoken Trump defender or a member of his legal inner circle. Okay. He is not a publicity hound. Let me see. It doesn't look like he was. I'm really like scanning. Okay. He is a protege of Trump-friendly legal pundit who is a regular present on cable news, which is Jonathan Turley. Okay, Jonathan Turley. That makes sense. Okay. All right, I digress. I had to make sure. Okay. In addition to the White House counsel, the office includes deputy, assistants, associates, and legal support staff. The White House counsel's office cannot serve as a finishing school to credential the next set of white shoe law firm attorneys or federal judges in waiting who cabin their opinions for fear that their elite credentials could be tarnished through a policy disagreement. Rather, it should function more as an activist yet ethical plaintiff's firm that advocates for his clients, the administration's agenda, within the limits imposed by the Constitution and the duties of the legal profession. The Office of the White House Counsel also serves as the primary gateway for the communication between the White House and the DOJ. Both the White House counsel and the Attorney General have issued a memo requiring all contact between the two institutions to occur only between the Office of the White House counsel and the Attorney General or the Deputy Attorney General. The Attorney General, since Matt Gaetz has withdrew, is now going to be a Pam Bondi. Bondi, and the Deputy Attorney General is Todd Blanche. Now, that name I've heard. Now, Todd Blanche, was Todd Blanche an attorney for Trump before? Why does Todd Blanche's name sound so familiar to me? Let's see. Todd Blanche. He was best known for representing former U.S. President Donald Trump in the 2024 criminal trial in New York. Holy shit. He's going to be the assistant. Wow. Wow. But I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised. I knew it. There had to be somebody in there. So he's the deputy assistant. He's the deputy attorney general. The next administration should re-examine the policy and determine whether it might be more efficient or more appropriate for communication to occur through additional channels. See, there they go, messing with the soup sandwich. When a new president takes office, he will need to decide expeditiously how to handle any major ongoing litigation or other pending legal matters that present a challenge to his agenda. To offer guidance, the White House counsel must get up to speed as quick as possible on all significant ongoing legal challenges across the executive branch. He going to eat up all January, February, and March, just keeping up with that. That was shady. I'm sorry. Staff secretary. Let's move on, because you already see what's happening. You already see what's happening. The office of the staff secretary is rarely visible to the outside world, but it performs work of tremendous importance. The office is similar to a military commander's responsibility for fielding and managing a vast amount of information at the top of its organization. This includes the information on its way into the Oval Office, so what he can see, as well as the information coming out of the Oval Office, which he sees. Because it's of its gatekeeping function, the position of the staff secretary is one of extreme trust, and the individual who possesses it has to be vetted to work as an honest broker in the president's service. So who is that? The presidential, okay, what do they say this person was? The secretary. The secretary. Who's the secretary? Excuse me. I just saw this on the list. Deputy. It's Presidential Personnel Office. No. Mm-mm. The department? No, I don't think they named this person yet. They only named the Presidential Personnel Office head. They didn't name this person yet. The staff secretary. Okay. The office of the staff secretary is that of a control point before papers reach the Oval Office. The staff secretary makes certain that these materials are complete, well ordered, and up to date before they reach the president. This necessarily means that the staff secretary plays a key role in determining who weighs in on policy matters. So he's the one that reads all the mail. Because we all know, based upon the last time dude was in office, he ain't read nothing. Okay, all right. One of the staff secretary's critical functions is managing and overseeing, oh shit, the clearance process for the president's daily, nightly briefing book. The book is filled with all reading material and leading documentation the president needs in the morning and in the evening to help him make decisions. The staff secretary also oversees the use of the president's signature, whether by hand or by auto pen, and manages the office of the executive clerk, the office of office of record management, and the office of presidential correspondence. We are now on to the office of communications, which operates under the director of communications, conveys the president's agenda to the public through various media, including speeches, remarks, press briefings, off-the-record discussions with reporters, and social media. Depending on how a president chooses to structure his White House, the Office of Communication may include the Office of the Press Secretary. But no matter how it's structured, the office must work closely with the press office as well as the president speech writers. Oh, hell. And digital strategists. Who's here? The White House Communications Director is none other than Stephen Chung. Wow. The White House Press Secretary is going to be Caroline Levitt. Wow. Okay. All right. I ain't got nothing else to say about that. Mm-mm-mm. What else do they do? Oh, here we go. Stephen Miller's over this, the Office of Legislative Affairs. It is an entity that serves as a liaison between the White House and Congress. The White House must work with congressional leaders to ensure that presidential nominees for roles such as cabinet secretaries, ambassadors are confirmed by the Senate. The White House also relies on Congress to enact reforms promised by the president on the campaign trail, whether those promises relate to health care, education, or national defense. Because Congress holds the power of the purse, White House staffers must ensure that there is enough support on the Hill to secure the necessary funding through appropriations process to fulfill the president's agenda. We're going to end there. And we'll come back and visit with the OLA. But before we leave today, let me just make a notation of where we left off. Okay. The Office of Legislative Affairs, we're still underneath the White House. We're going to continue that the next time we meet. There's several more things up underneath the White House. That's very interesting because now we're just talking about the players. And the next time we'll meet, we'll finish up with that. Ashe? Okay, that's fantastic. So now, before I leave, we have identified the White House Chief of Staff, which is Susie Wiles, the Secretary of State, which is Marco Rubio. Pam Bondi is now the new Attorney General. The Deputy Attorney General is Todd Blanche. The Office of Management and Budget Director is Russ Voigt. The UN Ambassador is Elise Stefanik. The Border Czar is Tom Homan. The Defense Secretary is Pete Hegseth. The National Security Advisor is Michael Waltz. The White House Counsel is William McGinley. The Deputy Chief of Staff is Dan Scavino. The Deputy Chief of Staff for Policy and Homeland Security Advisor is Stephen Miller. The Deputy Chief of Staff for Legislative, Political, and Public Affairs is James Blair. The Deputy Chief of Staff for Communications and Personnel is Taylor Budowich. The Presidential Personnel Office Head is Sergio Gore. The White House Communication Director is Stephen Chung. And the White House Press Secretary is Caroline Levitt. And then we'll come back to this, okay? All right. Be well, stay safe, stay safe, stay safe. And I shall see you all in the next episode. Bye. Stay woke, y'all. Hashtag FAFO. Hashtag we try to tell y'all.
Ain't no comparison to the so-called black or African American. You can drop the African, keep the American. When we say Aborigine and make their world in, I'm going in the same dirt my ancestors buried in. I come from a god and a goddess, so what that make me? Not even Basquiat can trace me. Not even Van Gogh can paint me. The MC in me is the god of C equals the god in me. I'm focused in, let my mind be free. You too blind to see. The Jews I give Israel, it's been real. These ain't shots, they missiles. All you gonna hear is the whistle. Lyrically, this the execution. My verses start revolutions. From my people seeking restitution. Since the beginning, fuck evolution. Or maybe my reality is all a dream. I put it together like I was sowing seeds. So it seems this is that audio dopamine. Go against the machine. We put you where nobody can hear you scream. And sing you to meet you Elohim. My nigga, this is savage mode. It's something that you hate to go. It started with a spark and I'ma let it explode. I was given the cheat codes that'll let me dump and reload. And go through them waves like a fucking torpedo. You dealt the cards of life. I just cut them diamonds with the ace of spades. Y'all scatter like roaches when they facing raid. Or vampires when they facing blade. I'm trying to get next to terrain like I'm getting played. You still stuck as a mental slave. You still stuck in that mental cage. While I'm making easy money, pimping holes in style. This my coming to age. Crowd roaring when I'm coming on stage. And when I'm done, they gon' be cheering my name. Great cops, and nah, I ain't quit my day job. I spit bars. I really rap on my day off. That's real shit. Just give you some tools you can build with. Aim high even if you still miss. Just keep going. It's a climb to the top. And I'ma keep flowing. Down Lake Shore, I'm Chicago going.